Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the A Brighter Day Outreach podcast. Oh, we are in for a treat today. We have none other than Mr. Arkevious Armstrong.
Hey, listen, I am
Welcome,
honored to
welcome.
be here.
Oh, I'm so excited, y'all. We're in for a treat.
Oh, man. Oh, I don't know where this is going to go. I know some people probably was like, oh, Lord, we got to tune in and hear what he had to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you all know who I am. I'm Beverly Knox Davis, and this is what we do. We want to share positive and enlightening stories from this community and those that are attached to the historic Hoskins community as well. So we're just very honored to have you here today. So tell us.
Oh, man. Oh, so we just jumping right on
We
into
just
it.
gonna jump right
Listen,
in.
why not? If you're going to get in the pool, stop tiptoeing and jump on in 10 feet.
That's it. That's it. I want you to tell us a little bit about family. Stuff maybe
Ooh,
people don't hear about. A little bit of your background,
right.
aspirations, that kind of thing.
Well, for those who know me, I'm a very open book, very transparent. So I don't know how much people don't already know about me, but for those who don't know, I am a Gastonia native. Been
Gas
from the
house.
gas house. Been in Charlotte for like over 25 years, and the things that most people have heard, my story. You know what I mean? I'm known for his compelling story. I'm known for what he's doing with the youth. I'm known for the messages that he speak and he teaches on is so powerful. But what do that come from? A young man who grew up in Gastonia, North Carolina, mom who had 6 kids, 4 boys and 2 girls. I was the baby boy out of the 6. Nope. Most people hear that, yeah, you the baby boy, I know you're spoiled. No, was not spoiled. We didn't have the luxury of having those opportunities to be spoiled. Had to get hand-me-downs. Had to receive things from those who didn't see fit for the things. So clothes, shoes, beds, mattresses. We took everything anybody could give us coming up. But a kid who had to watch and experience some abuses in certain areas from physical abuse from my father, psychological abuse from a mom who was absent at the time and struggling with her demons and her addiction, sexually abused coming up because of the addictions parents played. But started using drugs at an early age and started trying to find who I was and try to figure out, why the things that I was experiencing at the time, how and why it was me. So there's a lot that goes into that story for those who don't know, but I think we'll probably get into that more into this interview. But, founder of an organization here in Charlotte, not only just coaching, mentoring so many young men from Mecklenburg County and surrounding counties, facilitator for Mecklenburg County Jail, helping those who to come back into society, not only just with a changed mindset, but a plan. Amazing person who believes in ministry starts at home. So a husband, a father, of 4 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife and one little aggravating little dog.
I've seen the dog. Yeah.
But what I mean, I got a lot. An author. Hopefully, this book could get finished in the next couple months.
Okay, this will
Third
be
one,
third book.
third book,
Okay,
third
all
book, third
right.
book. Right,
Very
right,
good.
right.
Wonderful.
Traveling the world, impacting, changing lives. So my life just consists of serving. Yeah, yeah.
And being the founder and executive director for Step Up to Leadership. Tell us about that. How did that come about in your journey?
Yeah. So I know people are going to be saying it sound more cliche, but yes, I did not choose this platform. It chose me. If anybody know about this business, you got to be a psycho to get in this industry.
Lord.
Yeah. But you have to have a heart and passion to serve people. And I knew God chose me because it's not only just the heart and the passion that I have, but the story, the experiences that I had to endure can resonate with so many other young men. So what he gave me with Step Up to Leadership which is the acronym of Success Through Education, providing a universal platform. So we bring in different platforms, different industries. If it's not electronics, but if it's carpentry, if it's plumbing, if it's HVAC, or if it's anything. We had welding, automotive, accounting. We want to expose our young men to opportunities as far as career, helping our young men honestly to get through school, not academically. You can cut that part, right? You can cut it, right? I hope you can cut it. Yeah, you can cut it because that cells gonna start kicking in now. That energy, yeah, that energy drink now slid.
Hey, I need some of that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was. But we're helping our young men not only just excel in school, but we just want to give them a space of where they feel belong, where they can feel transparent and with other young men and sharing stories, but just receiving so much information with conflict resolution, leadership and development, social and personal development, so on and so forth. But we're doing a lot of great work with these young men out here.
Okay. And then also I see, not just that you have to go to college.
Yeah.
There were some other opportunities outside of college, and everybody knows, Mama, I do not want to go to college. That's happening a lot, and now with everything that's been so glamorized, they think they can jump from high school all the way to being an entrepreneur successfully.
It's a process. It's a process.
Yes.
And I think what's one of the things that, even with our young people today, we're not college forcing them to just put all the eggs in that basket, but to have a basket that you can start putting something into. And so we just want to give them the exposure that they can actually, get their hands involved in. So
Okay, that's awesome. So, how did you become connected to the Hoskins community and a Brighter Day outreach?
I was ironic that you asked that. I was stalked. I was minding my business one day, and it was a short lady who came up to me. She was very hound. Like she was down my neck,
Yes.
and like a little chihuahua biting at my ankle and everything.
Too much.
But no, Beverly. I've been watching Beverly. I think I met before it became a Hoskins. I think I met you, Beverly, at the Chris Fowler. I think is it Fowler?
Yeah, Fowler.
Chris Fowler. Boys to Men.
It was before then.
It was
And
before
you didn't
then?
even remember. He showed up at one of my events where we
Wow.
were serving at No Walls Ministries up here off of Freedom Drive. He just showed up. It was a Thanksgiving event. And he just put on an apron.
Oh yeah.
I asked
You
if
gotta
he
be
wanted to speak. He said no.
Nope.
And he got behind the table and just simply served.
Do you believe it or not?
That was a long time ago.
If I tell people, like, people are known for me to speak, so if I get a chance not to talk and just I love that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember that. But it has to be some truth to
He
it.
had everybody laughing. The
Yeah.
men that were serving just had a ball. He brought
Yeah.
the life. And remember? Okay,
No,
well,
because we've
I'm
been
gonna
doing
have
it
to
that long.
Yeah, I'm
We've
gonna
been
pull
doing
some
this a long
pictures
time.
and help you remember because
Lord
I
have
got you an
mercy.
apron. I got you.
That and I remember a time where I remember telling I don't know where I was, but I used to have my daughters with me when we used to serve, so I want them to also understand the value in serving. But I remember I told the homeless community one day to get out of the line, and I told them to put on aprons. And I told grab gloves because every day, people come out here and you guys are being served and given and given and given. How often do you say, you know what, let me serve? And there's multiple conversations that I've had with people and events that I've also played a part in. But I take that real serious because life is not about always receiving; it's about giving. And so we've been doing this a long time. We do it without rewards. We do it without accolades. We do it because God put it on our hearts to do it. So, if it was before then, charge it to my mind, not my heart. But I can tell it's some truth there because what you said is it's truly my personality. It's truly my personality.
Yep, you came in, sat in the back, and was
Wow,
just a real blessing to us that day. So, and
man.
we thank you for just being who and what
Yeah,
you are.
that's
And
what
what
I'm.
else? What else have we done? What was
Man,
impactful? One of our first together.
yeah. You. I don't know how you convinced me to be an MC. No, I was actually a speaker. I was to be a speaker at the event. The MC you didn't have. So
Yeah,
Beverly loved to like. Beverly has
be
a
ye
huge.
always
Oh
ready.
my God. For real, because you don't know what she's gonna ask you to do.
That's it.
But I
Yeah.
remember you wanted me to speak, and and you me being a speaker, I'm like, okay, who MCing? Because who's gonna bring me out? Who's gonna read the Bible? She's like, nah, we ain't got one. I said, oh,
Oh, if
okay.
you can handle that.
It, I tell you what, Beverly, and MC is not even on my resume. But after that day, I put MC. Yeah, I MC too.
Yes.
But I end up MCing because I'm like, I can MC, help her out, make sure
Hmm.
the crowd is engaged. Then you can drop gems in here and there. So you
That's right.
still, but you know what I mean. It's just that because that's just me. I have a servant heart.
Hmm.
So anytime I see a need for something, I just instantly jump into that role. And,
Yes.
and it's some people, like we was talking about earlier, some people can look at that as a problem and like, arrogant, cocky, want the spotlight. Nah, my personality is just light.
Yep.
It's life.
You have to
And
get to know him
yeah,
first.
you get
Yeah.
and so many people have misread
Yes.
either what they see on social media because I've seen people say, based off what I see, I'm like, you look like you. I'm like,
Hmm.
nah, that ain't.
Right. Right.
But when they finally get the chance to meet me, talk with me, like, man, are you really like this
Exactly.
is and it's not an act or nothing like that. But I just love to serve. And so that's what you saw.
Okay. And I had this idea about the youth explosion,
Yeah.
and that turned into something just
Yeah. It was
way
great.
beyond
Yeah.
anything I could have ever expected. But we just, said, parents, you're going to be quiet and you're going to allow these babies to speak to us. And
Yeah.
that was the whole
Oh,
event.
that was deep.
It
That
was
was very
we
deep.
had tissue.
Yeah.
We needed tissue. Everybody was
Yeah.
crying, the parents crying, the kids were
Yeah.
crying, but they got a chance to speak their heart.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the biggest problem that's happening right now.
Yeah.
They have so much bottled up on the inside, and it's military style. When you go to school, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to speak, or you speak when you're spoken to, or given direction. You line up, you go here, you go there, and they are never able to express, what's truly going on the inside.
Right.
And that, by the time that just builds up, then you have all of this emotion. I remember the one young lady that we all thought she had it together.
Mm.
And, no issues. She just was very put together young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then she burst into tears because her mother was a servant
Mm-hmm.
in the community doing all this work
Yeah.
that we do.
Yeah.
My mom didn't have a ton of time for, home.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with that as well with my two. So it hit home for me. I looked straight across the
Yeah.
room to my two, and they were like,
Don't this story sound all too familiar?
but you led that
Yeah.
event, and it was just amazing.
Absolutely. My thing is, when you're providing these type of platforms, you have to speak to people, souls, and there are so many souls crying out. Um, don't get the opportunity to express or release. And I remember that, and I think too, you're absolutely correct. That's why we give our young men not only just a space where we can teach, build, and develop. No, we give you a space to release. Like release it. And it's not just release because if you can release something and you're not putting nothing back in place with it, then you only just let it out, but you didn't learn. You didn't understand it. And so, and it's just not with youth. Man, I've seen grown
We weren't taught
people.
how to do this type of
No,
stuff.
I was I go inside of Mecklenburg County detention centers every day during the week, and one of my classes, I have a 50-year-old man who, you know, said I haven't cried in years, and he was just talking, but I noticed every time we're going over our discussions, our topics, he's very intuitive, like he's in it. And I just kept looking at it. This is matter of fact, this what is it? It's Monday. This was like Wednesday. And I was looking at him. I said, "You're still struggling." And he paused and I'm watching him and I'm like, "You're fighting to release." And it was just like,
Wow.
and this is a grown man. And so, while I'm in there and I'm giving him an opportunity to express, they were like, "I don't get to do this." And I can understand you don't get to do it, not because you're ashamed or afraid, because you're around other men. And you got other men who, that you got alpha, yeah, masculinity and all that talk. Yeah. So, we want our young men, because our organization focus on young men in general, to be okay with expressing, and to be okay with being vulnerable. But parents in itself, like, they're not vulnerable outside of frustration, but you have to be vulnerable in a healing place in your life, and not vulnerable in a frustration place, because a lot of these parents are frustrated with kids. So what these kids are seeing with these emotions is a lot of a lot of frustration, a lot of yelling, a lot of doing all that in the third. But when last time you ever just sat down with your child or with your daughter and just open up transparently and just be truthful, and let them see that side of you? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
My daughter is 23, and
Wow.
we recently
Y'all look
were
like
able.
twins too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We've been told. But just to finally get there,
Yeah.
and it took me growing as a parent. She was like, "Mom, you know what? I think you might be all right to hang out with now. I have graduated."
Uh-oh. You done got your pass.
Got my
She done gave
pass.
you the badge. Like, all right, you cool now.
Oh yeah, Mom, you might be all right. You might be
Yeah.
all right. So one thing that I noticed is that young people are drawn to you.
Yes.
What do you think that is?
Um, because I'm young.
Nah, that ain't it.
Nah, brother, ain't it. Nah, ain't it.
Cause to them you old. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's crazy because a lot of them don't know my age. They don't think I'm the age that I am.
Ah.
So, I tell people, no, I'm a grown man. So, but I think a lot plays in a factor of why young men, oh my God, I think my style of how I approach them, my style, how I carry myself. And first, let me say this, okay? This may go over rub some people the wrong way, but you know, this younger generation don't want to hear from grandpa now.
They don't.
They don't want to hear from grandpa now.
They just don't.
Listen, I respect all you out there trying to do something in these young folks, the young boys' life, but they ain't trying to listen. That generation where we grew up, where we listened to Pawpaw and them, was valuable.
Yes.
Now, that's not the same generation today. So with me having my appearance the way it is, so you come in, you clean cut, you look good, you don't seem too far older that I don't listen, but you also seem a little younger enough to where, okay, I can take in. But what I mean, my approach is always to show love and give respect and not feel like I'm trying to force you to listen to me, force you to change. No, I'm gonna give it to you to where you're able to digest it, but make your own decisions. But at the end of the day, the consistency. We're showing up every single week, and so that is one of the things that allows them to build that trust in that relationship. But they want to look at something, so when they see you coming in, you probably got on the latest. You probably, you know what I mean, you're looking good, you got some stuff going, then you pop it on social media. Now, these young folks, they looking for certain stuff before they follow. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie. They gonna see how they want to see if you lit on social media first. You know what I mean? I got a little heat, I got a little motion.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got a little motion. And so, then they take what you're doing, then you're traveling like, oh man, they admire that. Then your story is compelling, but it ain't. You just don't have a story, man. You're really doing stuff out here that is really like, I mean, never seen before. So there's a lot of things that I feel like younger folks do gravitate towards me, and I'm approachable. I've never had a situation, and one of the guys said this. Chris, he was like 19. I've never had somebody ask me this before. He was like, "Mr. Armstrong, why do you continue to show up for us?" And I've never had a young person ask me that, and boy, that thing had me crying. And I'm like, I don't mind crying in front of the boys at all. They know for a minute I'm gonna
And that's
hug you.
good because they're
Yeah,
often told, be a man.
be a
You're not supposed to
man. You know,
cry.
cry. Yeah. So I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna be emotional. I'm gonna sympathize with you. I'm just gonna show you that what you don't normally see on a day-to-day basis. But I remember when he asked me that, and I said, you know what, Chris? This is named Chris. I said, Mr. Armstrong is not the one showing up for you guys. And I don't even go by my nickname no more. But I told him it's Kevis is what was my nickname. That's who's showing up because this was something he needed when he was out there struggling and needing that support. So when I'm showing up, it's that younger version of me. So yeah.
And I can appreciate too, you've done this multiple times
Yeah.
where you show your journey
Yeah.
in mugshots
Yes. Yes.
and just put it out there. And I think a lot of adults work really hard to cover up,
They will.
things that they've done from their past and try to make it seem like they're so perfect. But that's not something that I've ever seen you do. And
No.
I think it resonates, especially with young boys who are constantly battling to, not have one of those pictures
Right.
every day, just from their lifestyle. So, what made you want to just share your journey? I mean, because a lot of people would be hiding mugshots, try to, can I erase it from the cloud?
Yeah. And again, I did not choose this platform. I didn't choose to be a speaker. I didn't choose to be a community youth advocate. I didn't choose none of this. I am solely a person who loves to be by himself. So people don't believe when I say I'm an introvert. I am a loner. I love to be by myself. And the thing is, God knew what he was doing when he said, I'm choosing you. And the mug shots is me showing and conveying to people what God can do. It's not even, hey, look what, no. When you give God a yes, what he can do through you. And that to me, I will never be mute, silent, or be ashamed of what I experienced, where I come from, what I dealt with, what I had to overcome, this journey. So my mugshot is always going to be revealed to people. Man, don't think it's not possible. Don't think you can't get it together. Don't think that you cannot, emerge from what people thought that was going to take you out. That's why I feel like God want me to constantly use those mugshots, because when I was serving and I was worshiping and I was living a life of being in the streets, committing those crimes and doing all that in the third, my thing was I was serving the devil. So to me, now people need to see what life and light look like. When I was in the streets, all of those mugshots, that's darkness. That's darkness. That's pain. And I just think, revealing what pain was a part of your life shows growth.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think people are so ashamed of those dark moments, those low moments in their lives. Like, no, if you are still alive today, I say, man, listen, you survived it.
Right.
But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that God chose me, because it's in moments like these that I'm able to go inside of the jail and break those men down. It's moments like these that I can go in certain parts of maybe communities, and my voice and my presence can help change. Not everybody can do that. God chooses those for certain roles. Everybody role is different. And I just think too is just that, when you look at somebody who has survived that,
Yeah.
being 13 and facing a life sentence,
Wow.
going through foster care, Sexual abuse. I just posted a video on my page where I was in Chicago this last month speaking at the art conference on sexual abuse. I was molested 4 times before I was 11, and I said I would die before I share that. But once you understand that what you experience, it affected you, but it don't have to stay there. But your voice can help somebody else. I just, everything that happened to me, it happened to me. What I choose to do with it now is to help other people. Some people are ashamed of it. I don't take blame for it. Yeah.
That's right.
We gonna start church.
Takes your power away. So we're not doing that in anything.
No,
So
no.
and once I heard your story, and then I saw your part of your brand, me versus me.
Versus me.
It just made things make so much sense, and then made me evaluate myself.
Come on.
I was like, wow. And I think that's why so many people gravitate when they see the apparel. That everybody wants that.
Yeah.
I've had so many people approach me when I wear my shirt. Yes, I got one of your shirts, and or two maybe.
Yeah, Beverly gonna support now. Beverly will
Yes,
support you.
I am. It's not this thing.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Right.
So I think it helps a lot of people to be able to do a self-assessment,
Right.
and to help them to grow as well. So we thank you for being so transparent and sharing and doing all that you do.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, what piece of wisdom would you leave with people, and helping them along their way to just figure it out?
Yeah. I always tell people, give yourself grace. For those who got things going on, those who may be struggling with something, and trying to figure it out, man, give yourself grace and give yourself time and give yourself patience. One of the things that we're so impatient, and we're such in a rush to either get from a place of our lives or where we may be at that we don't want to be, that we're such in a rush to get out of it, instead of saying like, oh my God, what do I need to be learning in this? No one wants to learn in that storm. No one wants to learn while they're in that valley. Everybody ready to get up out of it because everybody wants to be able to stand and say, I overcame and I survived it. But what did you survive? And so a lot of times when people identify what is it that they was going through, they can never talk about what they learned while they was in it. And so to anybody that's watched this episode is that, give yourself grace and understand that in every moment that we deal with things, we experience things in life, there's a teachable lesson in it. And so I always if anybody, I say, man, life is the best teacher. Every day you wake up, you should be pulling your seat up to the desk and say, what I'm going to learn today. Because it's going to teach you something. And that's just the thing, just be patient. You know what I mean? Like life is everybody's in such a rush now. No one is taking the time to just decompress and to just reflect and just take a pause. Take a pause for a second. And you know what? And it just, it's going to work itself out. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, I tell people, life ain't really deep. We make it complicated. It ain't really deep. It's just, we make things complicated. But just want to inspire people to understand that, give yourself grace. Despite of what it looks like right now, be patient. God, I don't know what people beliefs is, but God will work it out. But he's wanting you to understand what you need to be learning, whatever situation that you're in right now. And don't be in such a rush to get up out of something because you ain't prepared for it. He is not prepared for it.
Amen to that.
Amen.
So
Amen.
We're excited because Arkevious has agreed to be the MC again.
I didn't have a choice. What choice, Beverly?
Oh, he did such an amazing job last year.
She said he agreed. I was held hostage.
Yes, he was.
I was backed up in the corner.
Look.
And said, you don't got a choice. And I said, you know what?
The Lord already told me, so you have to do this.
No, I love it. I love it. And and I appreciate you, Beverly, because I think a lot of times we don't appreciate men. Men don't get the appreciation.
That's right.
That we deserve. And despite,
and that's where the Celebration of Kings came from, because the kids didn't even, my daddy's in jail. I don't even know my daddy. They didn't even want the gifts that we had to give them that year for their fathers. So I was like, we got to make this positive.
Yeah.
So that's how it was birthed. And so I appreciate you being such a light for this type of event to
Yeah.
encourage other men. This
Yes.
year we're bringing back the block party, so there's going to be
Uh-oh.
a whole
Uh-oh.
different flavor this year.
Sheesh. Listen, so listen, it's gonna be a vibe.
Yes,
It's
June
June
14th,
14th.
12 noon at 511 South Hoskins Road, which is the Carolina Farm Trust parking lot. It will be lit,
I
as
got
we
some
say.
questions though because I'm light skinned.
So
I'm gonna
put
be.
your
I'm gonna.
sunscreen on.
Uh,
There'll be plenty of tents, and you actually will be on the dock, and that's covered. So
to God be the glory. Because I was gonna say, come on. Because MC, that means you
yeah,
have to control the crowd.
that's
You got to
right.
make sure everybody like. So I'm gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you can just travel under all the tents that we'll
just
have.
okay, just and I would do that. But I'm so glad to host 2025. Is it Becoming Kings?
Celebration
Celebration of
of Kings.
Kings
Yes.
event with all my amazing men and fathers at this. Listen, last year was great.
Oh yeah.
I'm so honored because I end up getting crowned too,
He got
the
crowned, didn't
right
know.
way.
He kept trying to figure it out, y'all.
If anybody know
Nosy,
me, I
nosy.
don't like surprises. I hate surprises with a passion. I just don't like. I just don't. I don't know. I think you have to be a different type of special person to like to be surprised. Like that anxiety that leads up to no. Tell me what we're doing, and I'm just gonna give you the same
Oh
reaction.
my
I'm
God.
gonna still be happy.
Yeah.
But
Well.
listen,
Anyway.
I got my crown, and it was my wife and my daughter came. They
Yes,
brought me
they
flowers.
were in on
They
it.
can all listen. They was in on it. They was in. So my wife then brought me flowers.
Mhm.
I got crowned. I had to show I had to show the men how to really get crowned though. Y'all are
Yes.
sitting down now.
Oh
Get
my
on one
God. He
knee.
got down on one
On
knee
one
and I
knee.
put the crown.
Yes, that's how you get
Oh
crowned.
gosh. So yeah.
So if you are nominated for this year and you get a crown, I need you to put one knee down on the ground and be crowned the right way.
There you go. So you heard it from him.
And if you don't, I'm gonna have the mic so I will be able to correct
Oh my
somebody.
goodness. All right.
I
So
love it.
on that note, we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in with this episode of the A Brighter Day podcast. We are just super excited about all that we're able to bring in positiveness. So please check us out on all social media platforms, iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you again next time.
Love it.